to The Breakfast Show. You're listening right across Australia on 87.6, 87.8 or 88, wherever you are on the Faith FM network. And this morning, you're joined by myself, Lawson, sitting across from me, none other than Dr. Dan and producer Shell in the studio as well. Good morning to you all in the final episode, the final live show of The Breakfast Show in 2025.
And of host Lawson.
It's my last show. After this, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Well, I'm sure you'll be back, but just not on a regular basis.
Very mixed emotion.
Hopefully, what's the mixed emotion? Is it celebration? Finally, he's leaving.
I'm really glad for the end of the year. I'm looking forward to 2 weeks off.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm very, very sad that when I come back, you won't be in that chair.
Yeah. Aw, that's well, I won't be, so.
He's lying.
So this is what we're going to do today is, look, we're going to do the breakfast show. We're going to have a great time reading the Bible, getting into some current news stories and happenings, interviews, all these kinds of things. But you know what? I'm on the side of the listener today. And so when it comes to, particularly our quiz questions and whatnot, I'm going to be giving you guys clues. I'm going to be helping you. I'm going to make this show all about the listeners. This is what I'm here for today. I was thinking, man, I could make it all about me and be like super disruptive and annoying, and that's the legacy I could leave. But no, I'm going to leave Faith FM as a man of the people, who is standing in the gap and helping you guys out. So this is what I've decided.
Hey, so you're excited not to be coming into the studio super early in the mornings every morning for the next 365 days next year. Well, not 300, a good number of days, and quite regular. But what is surely there must be some tinge of sadness and of reminiscence and.
You just said like not coming into the studio early, and I literally started like salivating at the mouth, thinking about the sleep in that I'm going to get to have. Nah, absolutely. Look, I love Faith FM. I love the breakfast show. I love being on radio. I love that I get to be a part of a platform and a medium where I get to come and talk about the things that I think and that I'm excited about, which, I'm looking forward to doing again today. I love it. It's awesome. This has more so come from it's, different seasons, different times to do different things. And I'm sure next year when the opportunities come through for me to be on the show, I'll be chomping at the bit. I'll be so keen. And I think it'll actually be good. I'll feel fresh and happy and stoked. Not that I don't feel happy necessarily now, and I don't love doing the breakfast show, and I don't love doing Faith FM now, but I think that'll just be a bit of a fresh element to it next year, so I'm looking forward to it. But hey, I'm also looking forward to today being the last show, wrapping things up and praising God. Hey, coming up in today's show, we are going to be doing some amazing things. We're actually going to be reading a really awesome story from Luke chapter 2, well, finishing up for the year as we've been reading through the Christmas narrative. And I believe the story that we're going to see today really highlights to me in terms of application. Application from all that we've read about Jesus and his birth. We're going to be really, really applying it to our day-to-day, what we can do for Jesus, just like what, good, faithful men were doing at his birth. We're going to be getting some interesting stories, fantastic interview. You'll have to stay tuned for that.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
That was the corner room.
Yo, what up? Yo.
Whoa, what is this?
My name is Lawson, and I'm 20 years old. I like to eat haystacks when they're cold. Haystacks, that's my favorite food.
This?
I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so you know this. You get your chips, corn,
the people
lettuce,
were wanting
beans. Mix it all together. You know what that means?
This
you
is
got
for
a mega healthy meal that's super extreme, and the taste, that's a young Sevy's dream. Get in line at church or get haystacks. Something else. I don't know. I just made that up.
That is
That's
cool.
from
That's the
20
origin.
That's from 7 years ago. It has to be. When was that from? Because I said my name is Lawson. I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
That really caught me off guard. I did not know we were going to play that this morning.
Lawson is fully like almost horizontal on his chair.
Yeah, that
And at the end, you're like, hey, I just made that up. So that must be the origin of the song.
it must be. It must be like.
Because then.
Are we going to play that song later?
I hope not. I hope not.
we might play that clip again later.
No, I doubly hope not. No, that's funny as. That's so funny. Yeah, that's from ages ago. Oh man, that's very nostalgic. Do you have a bunch of these lined up? Okay,
Maybe a few.
we didn't know this was going down today. All right, well, hey, look, it's quiz time. Please, producer Shell.
All right. And I would like to say, too, that it's also roast day. So there's all kinds of people who are sending in like, oh, we're sad you're leaving. But hey, you can also send in a roast.
Yeah. The
Give a
things that you don't
Lawson
like
roast.
about me, send it through 0491 064 669. I won't get offended. It's okay. That's what happens when you get married is that, when stuff like that happens, you have someone to go and cry to. So
All
Shout out,
right.
I'm good. I can take it. Yeah.
So that little clip is going to give everybody a little clue to this next quiz question.
Okay.
Because the quiz today is all about you, Lawson.
This is all a surprise. This is okay. Awesome. All right. What's number
All right.
one?
So how old was Lawson when he first came on Faith FM? I think Lawson is going to get this one right. And we've got a correct answer from Lawson, an incorrect answer from Dan, but I'm not surprised.
Okay, well, there you go. All right. If you know, so I've been doing radio since 2018. Again, I said I was on the side of the listeners today, so I've been doing radio.
You're giving away the answer
No.
before anyone texts in.
My first
but we don't know how old you are.
was in 2018, and I'm currently 27. So you guys can work that out. Go for it. 0491 064 669 is the number to text. Oh, awesome stuff. Hey, read that off one more time.
How old was Lawson when he first came on Faith FM? The number here is 0491 064 669. For those of you who have been listening for years and years and years, our faithful long-timers, you will know this one, and he does mention it from time to time, even in recent years. So, yeah, and I think that even just over the last week you've mentioned it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an impossible one to answer.
Dude.
Especially with the clue he just gave you.
Yeah, this is. I did not expect this to happen. I'm kind of like blushing now. I'm like, man, I'm getting a lot of attention, and I don't know if I'm into it anymore.
You introduced this show as being all about the listener, but somehow
it's become all about me. Hey, you're listening to The Breakfast Show here on Faith FM. Let's jump into, the Bible. We're going to be in Luke chapter 2. And
really, that is what this show is about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's why we're here. And I mean, reflecting on my time on the Breakfast Show, that's been something that I've consistently said to people is, man, I'm living the dream getting to be on the Breakfast Show because I get to wake up every morning and talk about the Bible. Like, it's the best. Like, yeah, it's early in the morning, and yeah, we can make some jokes about it, and I have to hang out with producer Shell a lot, But no. But actually, that's one of the best parts of the job, is Shell and Lyle. Shout out the Double L team from before, and me and Skafy as well, who are tight and go way back. Like, yeah, getting to wake up every morning, hang out with my friends, and talk about the Bible, which we're doing again, which we're hitting it again today. So. Ends with my good friend, Big Dr. Dan. Look, let's jump into Luke chapter 2. I think this next passage is, out of everything that we've read, one of the most specifically applicable, especially to our day and age today. Of course, we're talking about Simeon and his reaction to seeing the baby Jesus and proclaiming him, Messiah and whatnot. This is a really amazing story. So I'll pick things up in verse 25. Do you want to go for that one, please?
Sure,
Dr.
and I'm
Dan?
excited to read this one too. I like it. So verse 25 of Luke chapter 2, and behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And this man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel. And the Holy Spirit was upon him. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he would not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. So he came by the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him according to the custom of the law, he took him up in his arms and blessed God and said, Lord, now you are letting your servant depart in peace according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all peoples, a light to bring revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people is Israel.
Dude, this is awesome. This is a really cool story. Imagine you're going to the temple as the law suggests, presenting your child, which we had chatted about yesterday. And this man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. Now, the question is, who was this Simeon? And the best consensus that we have regarding the identity of this person is that this guy Simeon was likely, well, firstly, he was a rabbi, but secondly as well, he would have been a member of the Sanhedrin, so a person of some level of influence. For those who don't know, the Sanhedrin was a group of people, about, I think it was 70 people strong, that represented the, priestly political class of Israel, particularly Jerusalem. These people were in Jerusalem and they were the big wigs making the big decisions. And you have one of them here. His name is Simeon. Now, unfortunately, some of the Sanhedrin and, the high priest of Jesus' time and whatnot were people that were pretty preoccupied with position and, the influence and power. But you had members of the Sanhedrin, like this guy Simeon here, like Nicodemus 30 years later, who were actually very devout, very spiritual, very faithful people who were genuinely seeking after God. They were in a political context where they were surrounded by others that were, doing it for position, doing it for power. But a number of these guys were really seeking God. And I think there's a real principle here that, in these spaces, there are good people, despite the maybe corrupting influence of power. And I think people look at institutions and can sometimes be dissuaded from, supporting any kind of, institution because it's like, it just becomes about power and corruption and these kinds of things. But in these spaces, there are these really humble, devout, spiritual leaders like a Nicodemus and like we're reading here, like a Simeon who was, genuinely seeking God.
And it seemed like he was toward the end of his life, which is why he doesn't feature again in the story of Jesus.
That's right.
Because Jesus' death was some approximately 30 years later.
Yeah.
And so he said that God had told him that you're not going to see death until you see the Christ.
Wow.
And then potentially soon after that.
That's right.
He probably would have passed on.
Yeah, in his later years, which is already, we're seeing some shades from the Old Testament, particularly some, I think shades of, say, a Moses situation. Oh, God, just let me. God allows Moses to see the promised land before, dying and being buried and whatnot. We're seeing here a similar moment here with Simeon, this, faithful person. But what's really interesting about this guy, it says here that he is waiting for something. He's waiting for the consolation of Israel. What do you make of that? What does that mean to you, the consolation of Israel? Yeah,
the word consolation kind of indicates that there's been a lot of troublous times, a lot of disappointment and despair, and there's consolation coming, which is what you need when you're in a time of desperation.
Yeah.
And Israel had been through a lot. They had been through captivity after captivity, and their temple had been destroyed. Their people had been decimated, and they really needed the blessing of the promised Messiah.
Yeah.
Spiritually, for their identity as a nation. It was not just a super triumphant blessing, but it was a consolation as
It
well.
was a consolation. I love what you're saying. You know, when we look at Israel's history, we see a series of subjugations and captivities, and ultimately it's all, but despite all of those things, Israel continues to exist up until the point and for the express purpose of bringing the Messiah into the world. And this is what the consolation of Israel was all about. There's actually a quote, you know, from a common Jewish prayer that was said at the time and still even to this day, which is, "May I see the consolation of Israel," which translates directly to, you know, what they're really trying to say is, "May I see the Messiah." May I see the Messiah. This is when it's saying here that this guy Simeon was awaiting the consolation of Israel. Colloquially, you know, what that means is, he's waiting to see the Messiah, the person who will sort it out, who will get it done, who will free Israel.
And that's us today, isn't it? We are waiting for the second advent of the Messiah today. We are waiting for the consolation of the world.
Of the world. That's right. Oh, I love what you're saying. And this is really where my mind went, as like reading this story and seeing this devout man who, yes, you know, has a job in the Sanhedrin, is an influential person, obviously is, you know, in the temple, because it goes on to say he's in the temple by the Holy Spirit. Like, this is a person who walks with God, who, you know, has like a very specifically like religious and political job, but this is a person living their life in faithfulness, but looking for something greater than this world that we live in. He's looking for the consolation of his. He's looking for the work of God, and specifically in the Messiah, and he's living out God's will in his life. And I think that there is such an awesome example here in Simeon for us today, for those who are living in the time period which we live in, which is on the precipice of the soon return of Jesus Christ. As this guy Simeon is looking for the Messiah in his first coming and is privileged to see him, there will be a class of people who will be the same, and it could very well be us. This is the time that we're living in, and so I think Simeon here is, if you wanted to look and to see and to find what it looks like to be someone who walks with God, awaiting Jesus' appearing, Simeon his first coming, us his second coming. Simeon is a fantastic example. Now, we see a few things here. Firstly, he's awaiting for it, so his mind is on it. This is where his focus is. You know, it reminds me very Hebrews 12-esque, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Like, he is looking for, awaiting this particular thing. The second thing is that he is like a man of the Spirit. He's living, endeavoring to live his life and desiring to live his life in such a way that he is in step with God, in his
communion
will,
with God,
in communion
regular
with him.
communion.
That's
And
right.
it's clear from this passage that it's been multiple times, because God had already revealed to him by the Spirit that he would not see death until he had seen the Lord's Christ. And then after that, he's in the temple and God taps him on the shoulder and says, this is him.
That's him.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy is someone who consistently is communing with God and endeavoring to be in his presence. Like, this is the consistent choice that this guy Simeon is making with his life.
And because of that, there's something that I really want to highlight here. Because of that, he is not this partisan guy that is like looking for the deliverer of his nation Israel. I mean, it says in the introduction that he was waiting for the consolation of Israel, but what he actually says, what the quote from his mouth, when he says, "This is the Messiah," he says, "My eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all peoples,
Yes.
a light to bring revelation to the Gentiles."
Yes.
So he is not partisan. He is a man of God, and he loves all people.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the really fascinating aspect here, is that in the greatest sense of, because there were two classes. There were two really classes that made up the Sanhedrin. Well, two groups of people. It was the Sadducees, who were the priestly elite, who were holding the position of high priest at the time, very upper class, aristocrats, and very connected to the Romans. And their goal and their methodology of political success was, get close to the Romans, be their friends. That's what they're all about. Had the Pharisees, which were a step down in social class, but still seen by the common people as,
experts
in the law and all these
yeah.
kinds of things. And their whole deal was, hey, reject Rome, reject every other influence, isolationism in terms of, culture and politics and religion, which, I mean, there are some, aspects of merit to that, but their whole deal was the propping up of the nation of Israel to destroy the Romans, destroy every other nation, this kind of thing. And what that led to, both of these philosophies of, as you said, partisanship and whatever it may be, led to heavy amounts of corruption and, the kind of circumstances that would kill Jesus because he's showing these guys up. Versus you've got this guy here, Simeon, in the same position, with the same pressures, with the same temptations and allurements that come with this level of power. But because he's regularly communing with God, he's got his head on straight and he knows what it's all about. He knows that, hey, what we're waiting for is not the political ascension of Israel and the lining of my pockets. And
it's the salvation.
It's the salvation of all people.
All peoples. Yeah.
Right? Like this is what he wants more than anything else. And this comes from his constant communing with God. It's a beautiful moment.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Joe, myself, Lawson, got Dan in the studio. What's up?
That's a very appropriate song for the passage that we're reading.
Absolutely.
What child is this?
Yeah.
Jesus, the son of Mary.
Yeah.
And Simeon makes a pretty good observation of what child this is. It's not just any baby coming into the temple.
Yeah. It was the Messiah. We're going to be jumping back into it and getting our head around it and making some application. But before we do, Producer Shell, do you have a quiz answer?
We do, and I actually have a clip to go along with this quiz answer.
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, I'm racing myself.
Good morning and welcome to Faith FM. You're listening to 87.6, 87.8
Shut up,
and
Mon.
88 FM across Australia, this wonderful, beautiful, delicious country that we love to call our own. You are here with Mon and Lawson, who is filling in for the last time for Leia.
Sad.
Are you sad?
Yeah.
You're loving this, aren't you?
I'm loving it, man. I tell you what, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love coming out here.
I'm so glad you like my job.
Dude.
Stay away. No, I'm kidding. Get away from my job. No, I'm glad that you're really into it. I know who to call it every time Lyle goes away
hit us
somewhere.
up.
Yeah,
Hit us
cool.
up.
I'm going to stick you on speed dial. Speed dial for stand-ins. Love it. Hey, speaking of things that we love, what are you grateful for this morning?
Well, I'm grateful that I've got to host radio. No joke. It's actually been like a little bit of a dream of mine to host the radio. Yeah, ever since I think it started when I was 15 or something, listening to just, normal secular radio. I was like, man, it'll be so cool to host radio one day. But now it's even cooler because I get to host radio for God.
I know.
And, it's just the best.
I was just thinking, you give your heart to do this and God, takes the desires of your heart and makes them reality.
Oh, it's just the best.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, that is classic. That's amazing.
So you want to know what the date was for that
It
recording?
was, I'm going to guess.
2018?
Yeah, it's June 2018 or something.
That's June 2018. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember. So I remember, dude, that was so awesome. So I walk into the breakfast show. I walk into the studio. It's in the office. I was working already for the, for the company that Faith FM is attached to, which is, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I was already doing some work and I knew Lyle and Shell and I got called by Monica. I didn't know Monica that well. I'd met Monica maybe a few times and she had the impression that I had done radio before. And so she called me up. She's like, hey, can you come fill in on such and such a day? And I'm like, yes. And I hang up the phone. I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I'm so excited. She asked me to do 3 days because Lyle was away. I'm like, I get to do 3 days on radio. I'm like, call my parents. I'm like, Mom and Dad, this is the best thing ever. Anyways.
And they got up early to listen to you.
Yeah, I hope so. I can't remember. But I remember coming in and I'm sitting in the chair, like mics in front of us, watching the screen count down before the show starts. We got about, I think it was 5 to 7 minutes. And Mon's sitting there and, you know, just working away, preparing, whatever. And I'm just like buzzing. I'm just like looking around the room, stars in my eyes. And Mon goes, "So have you got everything prepared?" I'm like, what are you talking about?
Come on.
What are you talking about? She's like, "Oh, like a news story and we've got the weather." I'm like, no, like I've never done this before. And she's like, "What?" And so we're like scrambling to get something prepared. And I will tell you what, it was clunky. Like those 3 days were clunky. Even listening back to it, I was quite unsure in my words, and I was doing something even worse that I still do now. Starting a sentence, not finishing it, just changing it. So like I could hear it straight away. But look, God is good. And that, started a beautiful relationship with Faith FM that I've been privileged to live out for the last years and years and years. So since 2018. Is there another question or are we just sitting on that one?
We don't have the answer.
So you were definitely 19 because that was 2018 in June.
Yeah.
So our next question. How many official hosts has Lawson co-hosted with? Now, by official, I mean pictured together on the website. Official, you know. So,
okay. That's actually, it's hard. Okay. On the website. Well, if it's on the website, 1, 2...
La 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 la
17, 18, 19, 35, 64. I'm going to...
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dan's one off.
Lawson knows the answers to the questions about
Wow,
him,
that's
guys.
amazing. Lawson's getting them all right today.
And I'm on none for 2.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's a number. I'm just thinking about how I can give a clue for this one. It's a number that's
That has curly lines or straight lines?
look, I'm going to say it's
I'd say straight lines.
less than 5. There you go.
Okay.
Less than 5.
Yeah. I know which way to go with my
0491 064 669 is the number to text. I love that question. Curly lines or straight lines?
Such a good
That's awesome. That's so awesome. 0491 064 669. How many different hosts have I been on The Breakfast Show with?
Yeah, official hosts.
Official hosts. Yeah. So, hey, you're listening. You're listening here on The Breakfast Show.
Did we give the number? 0491 064 669. And we got a couple of people who got that last question right. So keep up. Everybody text in what you think the answer is.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of messages to you. Do you want to save those for a little bit or do you want us to read them out?
We can leave them. We can get into we can get into them in the next section.
Okay. Let's get back into the Bible study.
Back in the Bible, because what we're seeing here is such a beautiful story of this man Simeon, someone who has, done his career as a member of the Sanhedrin, is getting up there in years, and who is sincerely awaiting the Messiah, the one who will come to provide salvation to the world. As he says here, bring a light of revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel, which is very much who Jesus was and what he was all about and what he accomplished, which is that he came from Israel and glorified Israel and showed clearly, Messiah. Well, he actually, like Jesus himself says the words, hey, salvation is of the Jews. I'm thinking there of John chapter 4, meeting the woman at the well. He's like, hey, don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong. Salvation is of the Jews. Like, this is where it's coming through.
This is where it's starting from.
But we look forward to a future where neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will be, the place where people worship, but rather in spirit and in truth. And this is what we
Everywhere
see here
in the world.
Bring a light of revelation to the Gentiles, is that this is what Jesus was going to be accomplishing, reaching the world essentially. And Simeon clocks all of this. Unlike a lot of his co-workers, a lot of his colleagues, he clocks this and he understands who Jesus is supposed to be. And this is why when he sees him in the temple, there's just jubilation and joy. He's so stoked that the baby Messiah is sitting in front of him, unlike a Herod or whatever it may be, where, you know, the jealousy comes out and the hatred comes out. He sees Jesus and he's praising God. We'll pick it up. Let's read verse 33 to 35.
Before I do, I really like how he says, a light to bring revelation to the Gentiles. So it's like he's specifically calling out the other team. Like, you know, it's like, you know, if we're watching the Ashes cricket right now and we really want to see Australia do well, but he's actually making a call out, and we hope England will do well too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not even, he doesn't even call out his own team. He just says, salvation to all peoples and bring revelation to the Gentiles. So, like, this is specifically calling out the other team.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's how God works. He is a God of all peoples.
That's right.
He's not a respecter of persons or, you know, doesn't have favorites.
That's right. Absolutely. You know, we've been reading through the book of Joshua, studying through, which we will be finishing up today in our 8 o'clock segment. And we saw yesterday, you know, the call coming through from God, hey, stop. Don't marry people from other nations. Like, please stop doing it. Don't do it at all. It will lead to your ruin. It will lead to your destruction. It will lead you to worship their gods. God made a fair prohibition against marriage because God's plan was never for them to, like, share the gospel or be a light to the world through marriage. He also knew the risk that came with it was that, you know, marrying someone that didn't agree with their values and didn't worship their gods, it always led to them, you know, practicing idolatry and going off track. You know, God's plan was always for the Gentiles to be reached through revelation, through the truth.
And even on the marriage thing, someone could become a Jew. Like, it wasn't your bloodline that determined whether you're a Jew or not. Someone could become a Jew, a converted Jew, and could marry a Jew. Like, you know, Moses' wife, Zipporah. Joseph's
absolutely.
wife, Asenath. Like, there are several examples, like Ruth and Boaz. Like, there's so many examples in the Old Testament of foreigners marrying Jews.
Yeah.
And it being a blessing. Like, you know, it being what God intended.
Expressly because of the reason that revelation had come to them. Like, they had accepted the revelation of God and who he was.
So the prohibition on interracial marriage wasn't about race, it was about religion.
Yes.
And
always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always it was about religion. Now, we pick things up here in verse 33. Do you want to start reading for us?
Yeah, sure. And Joseph and his mother marveled at those things which were spoken of him. Then Simeon blessed them and said to Mary his mother, behold, this child is destined for the fall and rising of many in Israel, and for a sign which will be spoken against. Yes, a sword will pierce through your own soul also, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty pointed.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fall and the rising of many in Israel. And then it says here, you know, for a sign will be spoken against. Yes, a sword will pierce through your own soul.
This is cryptic language, isn't it? A sign and a sword.
Incredibly cryptic. Also saying it's not like the rising of all people or even the fall of all people, but the rising of some
and the fall of some.
The fall of some as well. This to me reads very much like judgment, especially when you bring the concept of the sword in, which is consistently used as a symbol in the Bible as God's judgment. It's also used as a symbol of God's word, and that's, you know, who Jesus would be and would become. And we see this in the armor of God. We have the you know, the sword that splits in two and divides, and we see that being the word. But here, when we see this sword, we also see this concept in the falling of many people. This idea of judgment. You know, also when it says here that the thoughts of many may be revealed. The thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. Again, this very judgment-based language and really gets at, you know, what Jesus was trying to achieve, which is the salvation of all people.
And judgment in this context is a good thing. This is the sword is coming to Mary. Yeah. It's not like she's, you know, the wicked one and judgment is coming to curse her. Yeah. Judgment is coming as a blessing.
That's right. Oh, I love what you just said. Judgment is coming at a blessing. God's judgment, if you love God, God's judgment is one of the most like exciting. It should be one of the most security filling things that there is.
Which is what you find in the Bible. Like so many times when judgment is talked about, it's talked about as a blessing. Through the Psalms, I think it's about 5 times where the psalmist says, "Judge me, O God." Like he actually wants judgment.
Yeah, judge me, bring you, like, judge me, like, lift me up, see me, see who I am, get into the heart of the matter. Like, God really, what judgment is all about is God putting things back in their right place. And this is the thing, if we know that it's judgment from God,
who is a righteous
who
judge.
is righteous and fair and also gracious and merciful, he's going to do the right thing. He sees the thoughts and the hearts and the intents of people, and he's going to do so perfectly. And he does so on the basis, again, what they're pointing out here is, hey, because of Jesus, this sword is going to be, this judgment is going to happen. What does that look like? Oh, well, firstly, like the first step is Jesus hanging on a cross to save you. Okay, that's the first step. The first step of the judgment process is Jesus is going to... the judgment process, by the way, for a humanity that is already like guilty, that is guilty, they're in their sin. The first step is, Jesus is going to provide a way for you to
be acquitted.
To be acquitted.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost his own life. He's going to hang on the cross. So step 1 is that the judge is going to offer an option to you, which is, hey, I'll take the penalty. So that's step 1 of the judgment. Like step 2 of the judgment, the judge becomes your advocate, which is, hey, the judge says he's going to represent you,
and he's going to substitute himself for you as a sacrifice, as the one to take the penalty. Like he's everything for us. The judgment is stacked in our favor.
That's right, and this is why we've been saying, particularly over the last week, we've pointed out a number of times the very fact in the center of the gospel message, which is that Jesus does it all. Like it all revolves around him. The reason we talk about him so much is because, he literally is everything. He is the one providing everything for salvation. He's the one putting it all on the table. He's the one doing it all, and we're choosing. This is what he calls it. This is what the Bible calls us to: choose ye this day whom you may serve. Like this is what the Bible is calling us ultimately to, and we're seeing here in just the early chapters here of Luke 2, Simeon knowing this, understanding this about Jesus, who this person would be, is he's come to bring a judgment that he himself will provide a way through. Now, you could say, okay, well then doesn't it make it a bit arbitrary though? What's the purpose of judgment? If God didn't step in with judgment would be coming for all of us anyway, because we're already all experiencing the outcome, the outcome and the, what can you say, the penalty of the judgment, which is death. Right? We're experiencing the penalty of sin. What the judgment actually enables God to do is to save people.
Yeah, right.
It's actually the mechanism by which God can say, hey, you're already on the track and path towards complete death and destruction. I'm going to use a judgment to actually save some.
And as we said before, judgment is good news. Revelation 14 connects the everlasting gospel with the hour of his judgment.
That's right. Yeah, I love what you're saying. Revelation 14, the 3 angels' message, the last message that is to go to the world, literally opens with, yes, we've got the everlasting gospel to proclaim to the world. Fear God, for the hour of his judgment has come. This is good news, friends. Yeah. And this is the day that we are living in today. We are living in the time of final judgment, where Jesus is looking upon the world, investigating, judging, and determining the reward of those, who will receive the reward of salvation, and will return with it, as we see at the end of the book of Revelation there in 22, behold, I am coming quickly. That is the period that we're living in. This is fantastic news. It's communicating to us more than anything else. God is opening his arms wide and calling you to come to him. It's beautiful.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Wiki, breakfast show. Womp, womp, womp.
That was
Dude,
Lawson.
that was a jump scare. Dude, I like recoiled back into my chair as soon as I started playing. I'm like, what is this, man?
He was just about to say who did that song.
I was about to say it was Josiah Queen with Lowest of Lows, but hey, that was, you know what? I've gotten over the jump scare now. It was pretty funny.
Tell me about this jump scare.
No, just then. What just played is when it went. Poof, I was like, "Ooh!"
Yeah.
I'm like, it's actually so confusing because I'm like, that's me, but I'm not talking. Like, who is saying these words? There's actually every time Shell's played something, there's been a bit of a hard sync moment of like,
What am I about to say now?
What's coming out of my mouth? I'm not even saying anything. All
Who's
right,
in control of me?
we need a quiz answer, please, producer Shell.
Our quiz answer, and we had some correct answers come through, some very close answers, and some good explanations trying to get it right. The official answer is 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of
4
people who
co-hosts.
counted Mon in that and said 5, but no, Mon was never officially a Lawson and Mon show.
Yeah.
She was pictured on the website with Lyle, but not with you.
Yeah, that's right. Me and Mon have done a bunch of radio together.
Yeah.
But it's always been like a kind of...
Probably more than even some of the official hosts.
Yeah, that's right. But it's always been in like either she's been the full-timer and I've been filling in, or I've been the full-timer and she's been filling in.
That's right.
It's been in one of those fashions. It's been in one of those
So if
setups.
you put 5, then surely we can make an exception.
We can give you
we
a
can give-
sturdy pat on the back and
That's
say, good job.
So who were the others? I'm
So the roster, the lineup is
LML.
Lyle. Shout out the Double L show. Danuta as well.
okay.
Shout out Danuta. And then Blake.
No, Blake and then Danuta.
Oh, so well, yeah.
Yeah.
Lyle. I wasn't going in order, but Lyle, Blake, Danuta, and then
And Skafy.
Skafy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
cool.
mate. I'm just going through hosts. You know, I'm like, man. You know what is it about my presence that's sending people out of this job? You know, controversy. Controversial here in the studio this morning. But yeah, hey, yeah. The total number of the official hosts there is 4. I'm really going to be interested if Shell's going to throw something real curly at us that I might not know the answer to.
Yeah.
But it might be about me. Like,
I don't think so. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you're going to know all of these answers.
okay. Well, hey, coming up in the show, we have some really fantastic things to jump into and see. What are you going to be bringing to us, Dan, in the next hour?
Yeah, so I've got some the good news story of visions that God gave to some key people, and visions that even God is giving today.
Yeah, okay. We're going to be chatting about visions. Hey, look, I'm going to jump back into it again because some more concrete information is coming out after the Bondi shooting regarding next steps that the government is actually deciding to deliver on and take. So we'll be having a look at that. So yeah, hey, stay tuned. Just put solar panels everywhere. Just put solar panels on my car. Just put solar panels on my backpack. You know, just I don't know.
Put one on your hat.
Actually, I remember being young and seeing a guy with a hat that had a fan in it. Like the bill had a fan in it that pointed back at his face, and on the top of the hat, it had a solar panel
Running the fan.
And so he would go out in the sun and it would be boiling hot, and he would just like have the fan going. And then he mounted a button to it with like some kind of thingy, like a container that had water in it, and so he could press a button and then it would spray water through the fan into his face. And it's all solar powered.
Not just a fan, he had air conditioning.
Yeah.
In his hat.
In his
Solar
hat.
powered.
Solar powered air conditioning in his hat.
And also bug repellent as well.
That's correct.
Because if a fly comes by, it's going to get cut up with those fan blades. And
And I
be
saw
bits of
this.
fly spread everywhere.
And you know what? I saw this guy.
Fly boats, guts all over your face.
Stop. It's the breakfast show.
You're listening to the Faith FM Breakfast Show. Positively different radio.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.